I won't support this would advance as long as the policies are right. Now, I go back to what I said to Based and Bougie, and to Baraka, and to Shoaib, and to Lubna, and to some of the girls in that beautiful, wonderful Christian choir that sang at the United Kingdom event. And I gave them my word that good people of the United Kingdom would not desert them because of their colour. They stood with us, we would stand with them. And I'm seeing an ever-increasing number of people.
I don't know who this man thinks he is. I don't know who he thinks he represents. But he's obviously had a meltdown purely because of that tiny little by-election in silly Manchester last night. I mean, when did by-elections become so important? A tiny little by-election, and he's losing it, right? This guy has never changed what he is from day one. If he loses if they lose something, this guy, puts up the white flag. I surrender. And now here he is talking shit. So let's carry on.
Would want to turn away from that and go down a route that is not going to win. And I'm not turning my back on those people. I'm not going to desert those people to please an element of my audience that I wish didn't even watch me in the first place.
Oh.
And I'm disgusted with some of the YouTubers that have turned on people like myself for all of a sudden not being prepared to support some of the people and some of the reactions that are surrounding Rupert Lowe. Not that Rupert's guilty of himself.
Look, Thorpe, I think you forget your past history. You turned on all the British people from day one. Remember when you were stood there at the beach? My grandfather, he fought in the beaches. He fought on the beaches, yeah. Blah, 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 blah. And then what happened? Oh, yeah. So now I'm going to go move to Spain, and I think the rest of the country should come with us, come as well. We're finished. Remember that one, do you, Thorpe? Remember that one? You gave up the minute. You decided to go to Spain and not come simply because you kept getting stopped at the fucking airport. End of story.
But he has to get a grip. What do you know about tactics, Paul? I think you're getting a bit above yourself. You're welcome to that opinion.
Well,
you don't know what I do, who I know, and who I speak to.
Well, I know that you used to work for Mr. Al-Fayed, Mohammed Al-Fayed. And by the way, Al-Fayed isn't his real name. It was just Mohammed Fayed. He put the Al, or whatever, the EL in it, because apparently being called EL Fayed is like being called Sir Fayed in Arabic, right? And that's why he put Al-Fayed in there, when his real name is just Mohammed Fayed. You worked for him. You was his right-hand man. Yeah. Did you see any of the goings on that I've been reading about? Did you, Mr. Thorpe? Or were you totally oblivious to it all? Because it's not good. What I've been reading isn't good about Mr. Mohammed Al-Fayed now. No. So how dare you say anything about anyone? Because you were Fayed's right-hand man, remember?
And you don't know who consults me either.
So, you don't know who I talk to. You don't know my connections and you don't know who consults me. Don't you? He's like saying, don't you know how bloody important I am? Don't you know that, you know, nothing would happen if it wasn't for me. I'm so important. I'm just so important. No, you're not, Thorpe. None of you are. None of you are politically important. Do you know that? Because any political party that engages with the likes of you will get nowhere. That is why reform, right, have nothing to do with you, have nothing to do with you lot. Ah, right. It's the kiss of death for them politically if they, if they get close to people like you. Haven't you worked that out yet? Yes? Because the Middle England will not tolerate people like you fucking fool. Yeah, I thought you would have known that, being as you've got so many connections and so many people want to know advice from you, and you're so important. And you were Al Fayed, well, no, Mohammed Fayed's. You were so close to Mohammed Fayed. Yeah, I thought you'd have known that one, Paul.
Thank you for some of the beautiful comments abroad. So I'm getting them all in. I'm loving it. I'm loving this. But you are abroad. So fucking what? So what? What the fuck does it matter where I'm doing it from, where I am, where I'm sitting, where I'm speaking from, where I can.
Yeah, well, it matters quite a lot in this Britain that we're living in today, doesn't it? Because you can get away with saying things that we can't. And you know that, Thorpe. That's why you ran off to Spain. That's why you're a Spanish resident, isn't it? Because you ran off to Spain because they kept stopping you at the fucking airport. So don't make out that it makes no difference to you where you are. You know you can say more being in Spain than we can being in Britain.
From where I try and unite people from, what difference does that make to you? To anyone? Every single one of these mugs out there.
Right, you haven't tried to unite anyone. When Richard Tice, when after the election and Reform got, I don't know, was it 4 or 5 MPs, and he sat on TV and he said, "You lot, I have nothing to do with those lot." That was it, those lot, referring to you, Tommy, and various other people. Remember how you cried like a baby? Remember how you thought you'd actually got somewhere, and then, Mr. Farage knows what he's doing. Love him or hate him, he knows what he's doing. And it's you can never, you can't run circles around him. He'll run circles around you, but you can't run circles around him. You're not important, Mr. Thorpe.
That keeps slagging me off for being abroad. Tell me in the chat right now, in fact, even better, come on my channel this evening and tell me what difference it makes to you, your lives, your families, or the future of the United Kingdom, whether I'm sitting.
No, it makes no difference to us personally. No, of course not. Why would it? But, it's a bit hypocritical sitting there saying what you want and say it makes no difference to me sitting in Spain when you're actually sat in Spain because you haven't got what you call freedom of speech in this country, and you're scared to come back to this country, aren't you? That's the hypocritical part of it. That's what people are talking about, and you still haven't worked that out, have you?
In here and doing it free, or whether I'm sitting back at home in a cell in Gatwick.
There you go. There you are. Look.
The one thing that I can do is guarantee you this. is that whatever I do from Spain, I'm doing more than most of the people slagging me off.
Oh, look, I'm doing more than most of the people that's slagging me off. How do you know, Thorpe? How do you know what each individual is doing? Eh? Oh, is it because you're so important? You've got some sort of ego going on there, haven't you? Yeah, that ego of yours is quite big. Yeah, and you don't like it to be, yeah, never mind.
Richard slagged Dino Bain off for being a brawl. Yeah, I don't agree with everything that Richard says. People are also under the impression, a lot of people out there with no brains are also under the impression that I'm somehow responsible for everything that Richard says. I'm not. Richard says his own stuff, I say my own stuff. Doesn't mean to say that we agree on everything. Graham, happy to jump on later, have a discussion. Beautiful, yeah. Richard's been downright abusive to Rupert. Look, again, I've said this. I've just said it a minute ago. I had a word with Richard. I wasn't happy with the way that Richard spoke about some of this, but Richard is a very passionate man. He's a very passionate man. He cares so deeply about everything.
Well, you know, maybe he is, but I have a problem with Advanced because I've been looking at the college members, right? And I see, now we've got to remember that Richard Inman is based in Northern Ireland. And Ben Habib's favourite topic is Northern Ireland. And I couldn't help it but noticed, right? I noticed that there's 3 or 4, you know, well-known unionists in the college, but there's no Republicans. Why? Why, or even, you know, this is for Northern Ireland, by the way, that are in that, right? The unionists, sorry for people who might get mixed up, the unionists I'm talking about are part of the college, right? But to even it out, there's nobody from the other side in Northern Ireland, right? And I don't know why this college has got unionists in it, to be quite honest. What's the big deal? I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked because of Ben Habib's habitual obsession with Northern Ireland, and obviously Inman's obsession with Northern Ireland. But to have actual unionists in there, and to think that, you know, I mean, they're never going to become the government. But I, to be quite honest, with that going on in the college, I wouldn't want them to be the government either. Yeah.
And sometimes he gets carried away with himself. I'm not going to criticise him for that. People have to be understanding. This is a very passionate issue, isn't it? My God, it's hot in here. Hold on a minute. Oh, I need a bit of fresh air.
That won't have given
Paul, don't waste your energy on these idiots. Do you know what? You're right. I shouldn't waste my energy on these idiots, but no, you're right. I shouldn't waste my energy on them.
No, don't.
All of us have ever done, and I've been on the inside. I've been with Richard. I've been with Jeff Taylor. I've been with Tommy. I've been with Katie Hopkins. I've been with Ben Habib. I've been with all these people, and I know for 100% certain that the absolute ultimate ambition of all of these people is to unite and win our country back, and to stop the shit, to stop the 600 illegals coming over to the UK like that came over yesterday. And the reason that I decided to resign from the College of Advanced UK was for the betterment of Ben, for the betterment of the party, to be the bigger man and to dedicate my time and my honesty to you, my audience. I'm going to tell you the truth. And if it's not good for Ben Habib, tough. If it's not good for Tommy, tough. If it's not good for Rupert, tough.
Ah, shut up. You listened to Lubna, didn't you? And what she was saying last night, that, you know, advanced have no chance. No chance. I'm telling you, in a few weeks.
And as I said in my video this morning, I will support Rupert Lowe. I won't support some of the people's views around him. Now here's the deal. How many of you die-hard Rupert fanatics that think that Rupert is going to storm to victory at the next general election? One man is going to storm to victory at the next general election. Who are MPs going to be? Do you see Carl Benjamin being popular enough to win a seat in Parliament?
Well, maybe not. Maybe not, Mr. Thorpe, right? Maybe Carl Benjamin isn't everyone's cup of tea. You know, it certainly won't be the silent majority's cup of tea, Middle England's cup of tea, right? But then you can say the same about Mr. Habib, can't you? You can say the same about you. You could certainly say the same about Richard Inman. You see, the mistake that people make, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to politics, is because we're all in this little bubble. Everyone seems to think that the whole country has heard of these individuals. I can guarantee you that most of the country won't have a clue who Carl Benjamin is. Most of the country won't know who you are. Most of the country won't even know who Ben Habib is, to be quite honest. They all know now who Farage is, and they certainly, I think, most of the country now, I think, will know who Tommy is as well. After the last year or so, definitely they'll know who he is. But, you know, these little people that you seem to think are extra important, people who don't know who they are. But on the other hand, wasn't it the same for Ben when he started his advance party? I mean, just because he had a little bump up from the likes of you and Inman and all your little buddies who became members of the college, you know, nepotism. Fucking nepotism or what? Where you know, but you lot apparently get to say this, that, and the other. And it wasn't nepotism. You weren't voted into the college. You were brought into the college by no other than probably Ben Habib himself, I expect. So, you know, at least give Rupert Lowe a chance. I myself, I'm under no illusion. I know that Rupert Lowe will not win the next election. Restore. I know it's he hasn't been around long enough. He says all the right things. Great. I agree 100% with what Rupert Lowe says. But I'm not silly enough to think that he's going to go get anywhere near governing this country on the next election. Maybe the election after that. But give the man a chance, won't you? Give him a chance, you know. He's been going as long. I mean, let's think now. Right, advanced has only been going not even a year yet. So, you know, watch who you're throwing stones at when you live in glass houses, yeah? But I don't blame Ben. No, I don't blame Rupert for wanting nothing to do with you lot. I love saying that. I don't blame Rupert, right, for not wanting anything to do with you lot, because you're little caricatures on the sides, yeah, digging like little rats, trying to get in all the time, trying to have a say, trying to this, trying to that, trying the other. And Rupert's seeing through the lot of you. He don't want nothing to do with you. Yeah, he'll know. Well, he should know. Let's put it this way: that politically, it's the kiss of death to have anything to do with you lot, right? Because everyone knows what you lot stand for, and that is for your own, for what you want, right? And by that, I don't mean for the betterment of this country. I mean what you lot want personally for yourselves. That's what it's all about. I wish Rupert Lowe's Restore could gather pace and become the next government, but I live in reality, and the reality of it is no, it won't. And I'm also not stupid enough to think that the Green Party will even get into power. They won't. Yeah, okay, they won some silly little by-election. That doesn't mean nothing, right? A little by-election means nothing, because when it comes to the general election, right, we know who the battle's going to be between. And I think that anyone who I honestly think that anyone who has any sense will vote for Farage and Reform. Whether you support Rupert Lowe or not, he just won't have his party hasn't been round long enough for people to take it seriously. The millions that live in this country, remember there's about 70 million people in this country now, and most of them will not have heard of Rupert and his Restore Party. So you've got to be tactical and look at the party they will have heard of, and that is Reform. We don't want Labour and we don't want the Conservatives. Yes, a few of the Conservatives have gone over to Reform, but he's the best out of a bad job. Voting for, as far as I'm concerned, voting for Advanced or voting for a Restore in the next election is a wasted vote. And you've got to start and think, hang on, it doesn't matter that I prefer Restore, but they're not going to get in this time. I've got to put my vote where I know at least something's going to change. And that's obviously with Reform. I do wish they hadn't both decided to have parties that begin with R. Reform and Restore. Yeah, that's doing my head in a little bit. But so yeah, I'm just explaining politics to you, really, Paul, and the fact that this country is in such a dire state that we have to put the country first. And as far as I'm concerned, going out and putting your vote to a party that you know is not going to get in, all right, is a complete waste of time. The vote needs to go to the party Reform to at least get them in, right? But too many people stuck in their ways. Too many people think that the whole world's heard of Restore when they haven't. Too many people think, oh, we've got Ben Habib, blah, blah, blah. No, hasn't been around long enough. I mean, I can remember when Nigel Farage was exactly in the same position. Hardly anyone had heard of him. Now look, You know, he's a major player, but he's had to fight his way through to become that major player. It doesn't happen overnight. It certainly doesn't happen in the span of 3 years, politics-wise. No, doesn't. Sorry, Paul. Yeah.
Do you see that Bo character being popular enough to win a seat in Parliament? Do you see someone like Dino Bain with some of the rhetoric that he's been coming out with, which is quite harsh, it's a bit near the knuckle, right? Do you see him being popular enough to come back to, say, Middlesbrough, where he's from, and win a seat in the House?
Yeah.
Because with the rhetoric that some of these people have been using,
I don't know who he's talking about. I don't know who that guy is, right? But if he's from Middlesbrough and he's been coming out with that sort of stuff, yeah, whatever kind of stuff, right? He'll get that vote. You fool! You fucking idiot!
Wouldn't stand a chance. Sharp Bite, thank you. Paul, we are jealous of where you are, mate. F 'em. Maybe. But some of them believe it. I'd like to see Carl Benjamin in the House. I'd like to see Dino Bain in Parliament. But they got to screw their loaf.
Oh God! You see, Carl Benjamin has the voice. But unfortunately, he's not well known enough. He's only well known in this little bubble of the right. Most people won't have a clue who Carl is. And this is where people are going wrong. You've got to look at people. You've got to start looking at people as right. Who's gonna be the party who's going to be the household name? Who is it? Which party is going to be the household name? Not Labour, not Conservatives. After them, who was the household name? Who are people going to recognise straight away, know what their policies are, and think, right, I'm voting for them? Well, it's reform, isn't it?
Nigel Farage, to his credit, does get this, and this is why he wants the votes from Middle England. This is how he's getting the votes from Middle England. But the proof of the pudding last night, the massive. And here's another point. Right? I want you to listen to this. I know people out there are angry, but please just listen to this, right? I'm asking.
Listen.
With the huge machine that Nigel Farage has behind him. The guy has been on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. The guy basically owns GB News and Talk TV, right? He's on there more times than the news presenters. You know, he's a darling of the mainstream media. With all of that behind Nigel Farage, he couldn't even beat the Greens last night.
Okay.
And you reckon Rupert's going to do it?
Okay.
With the few lads he's got around him.
Right.
Wake up and smell.
So, that little by-election that happened, right, in Manchester. Haven't you heard, Paul, that there was segregation? Not segregation. Oh, I forgot the word now. Voting going on. You know, where people that can't speak our language were taking other family members into the booths and telling them who to vote for. Sectarian voting going on. It's against the law. It's not allowed. And I'm sure that from now on, it's going to be watched. Every election, by-election, and everything else is going to be watched. Because these people are taking relatives in and they're going into the booth with them, which is not allowed, and showing them who to vote for. It's called sectarian voting. family voting, which is against the law. Because in other words, it's just against the law. You're not allowed to do it. And that's partly why the Green Party won in this scabby little by-election, right? But as for Nigel, he couldn't even win. Now, so what? Just stop being a baby. Stop that. Because the day will come where reform will win and will be the next government. And then after reform, no doubt we will have restore. But it's never going to be advanced. The advanced party, they just are not ever going to be in power. And because of this college that you've got, where, the ordinary public don't get to say who's in the college. It's you lot that get to say who's in the college, isn't it, really? But, stop being jealous. Stop trying to put down Rupert Lowe when he's doing his best. I haven't seen you put your money where your mouth is and go looking into the grooming gang inquiry. Rupert has. It's just a shame that Rupert Lowe hadn't, if he'd set this off, say, 4 years ago, he would be in a good chance of winning the next election. Unfortunately, he didn't, for whatever reason. And we've just got to wait, really. But as for Nigel hasn't had an easy ride. And I'm not particularly a fan of Nigel, yeah? But, I can remember when people used to pull faces. You mentioned Nigel Farage, and he was really hated. People wouldn't vote for him. Look, when he was in UKIP, very low voting, everything, right? Then there was the Brexit thing, and then he buggered off, didn't he? And people didn't like him for that. And he's had to build up his career again since then. And I'm telling you, he is not going to jeopardize his party by getting involved with the likes of you lot. No, he's learned, right? He's learned. You stay away from them lot, because if the public find out, the public will not vote for you. And this is it. The Thorpe doesn't seem to understand this, you see. Thorpe thinks everybody thinks the way he does, or everyone thinks the way No. Middle England, the people who don't come on YouTube, the people who have nothing to do with talking politics day in and day out, they just have something to do with politics on an election by election basis, right? They're the people, right, who will vote for reform. They are not going to vote for Restore. Hopefully Restore will get a few members, MPs in there maybe. They're not going to vote for Restore, though, because they haven't been going long enough. And they're certainly not going to be voting for the likes of Advanced. No, not a chance.
The bloody coffee. Legend Paul, you're the only one talking this way. Everyone else is behind Rupert. I don't give a shit who's behind Rupert. I'm behind Rupert.
Oh dear.
But he's got to use his loaf. He's doing a Nigel Farage, mate. What is wrong with you? Open your eyes. 100,000 members wins you F all. Nothing. So according to you, maybe I'm the only one that's got the brains to think it out, right? I know that sounds terribly arrogant, and I don't mean it that way, right? I promise you I don't. But listen, if Rupert Lowe can't even unite with the members of Advance UK, how is he going to unite the country? If Rupert Lowe refuses to sit at a table with Ben Habib, with Liam Tufts, with me, with Tommy, with anyone else apart from me.
Would you like to tell me what Liam Tufts or you or even Tommy has to do with the running of this country? Tommy isn't political. As far as I know, I don't think Liam Tufts is political. Why would Rupert Lowe want to sit with you, right? And Rupert Lowe, like I said, should have enough experience to know getting involved with the likes of people like you is not a good move politically. Not a chance. So, you can cry all you like, but I hope that Rupert Lowe never, ever gets involved with people like you, because kiss of death politically, you may as well forget about it. He stays with who he is. He gets his own people who get elected MPs. Great. I mean, he can support Tommy. He can say he believes in what Tommy says, but Tommy's made it clear anyway. He's not political like that. He doesn't want to get into politics. So why have you dragged his name into this? And who are you? Why should Rupert Lowe want to fucking sit with you? Who are you? You're some old man living in Spain because you're too terrified to fly back to Gatwick. I mean, I don't know, fly back to Heathrow. And I'd like to know what these cells were that you were made to sit in. What do they look like, these cells that they've got in Gatwick Airport?
His little group around him. I'm waiting for the answers. How is he going to unite the country? Tell me. I keep seeing the name. Rupert Lowe, Rupert Lowe, Rupert Lowe. Tell me how he's going to win. You tell me how this 100,000 members is going to...
Rupert Lowe's party is like 2 weeks old. He's got 100,000 members. What is it you're trying to say, Thorpe? Give him a bit more time and a bit more time. You get more members and more members and more members. That's how it works. We're not stupid, right? But you're just being petty here. You're being childish, petty. You've listened to what Lubna had to say, and you've decided that Advanced is the losing party. And believe me, in 2-3 weeks, he'll have probably moved over to Restore. He'll go wherever he thinks that the winners are. The sad fact is he can't go to Reform because they don't want him. Play.
Is going to translate into winning a general election. Charlie, Paul, I'll speak to you tonight, mate. Big love. Charlie, thank you, mate. You're a real good lad, you are.
Yeah.
That young man, Charlie, speaks more sense than someone 2 or 3 times his age. You need to listen to young Charlie. John 101. John, I'm going to be really respectful to you, my friend, but you just don't get it. You're saying get together, BNP and NF hurt each other. Now you're doing it again. John, do you not realise the BNP and the NF together never won a seat in Parliament between them?
Well, I bloody hope not. What is this idiot talking about? Did you know that the BNP and the National Front never won a seat in Parliament together? Well, that just shows what a good country we are then, doesn't it?
I was around in the 1970s. I remember the National Front, mate, and I remember some of the things that were being said. And if those things were being said today, we would have a civil war on our streets that would just turn this country into something that you don't want to see. David, 150 votes. Why unite with advance? Lol. 40,000 members. Yeah, 150 votes. Yeah, well, you know what? It's 150 votes more than Rupert got last night, right? Because they didn't stand. Call Mike on AY Audit's live stream in Ramsgate. He said one of the illegals on the bus coming on was waving and kissing out the window to school girls. Yeah, he told me that. A woman came up to AY and said, it's disgusting. Of course it is. You see that little comment back there? The Wizard's Words. Good afternoon, mate. Sorry for going live whilst you were live. Don't forget to subscribe to the Wizard's channel. The debate, Dino, make it friendly. We can sort this out. I really don't think you have an actual argument. Okay, so let's say we're going to win the next general election. I'm going to get behind Rupert Lowe. I'm playing devil's advocate now. I will support Rupert Lowe. I'll put all my efforts, my support. I'll dedicate my channel to Rupert Lowe. Tell me how we're going to win. Tell me what it looks like. Tell me how Rupert Lowe, Cole Benjamin, Bo, the Lotus Eaters, Connor Tomlinson, tell me how these boys are going to form a government.
Right.
Who's going to support?
The same way Advanced formed their government. What are you talking about? What are you on about? They're 2 weeks old. Rupert Lowe's party is 2 weeks old, and listen to them. Right, I'm gonna back. No, you are a jinx, right? So we don't want you back in Restore at all, right? But I'm sure Rupert will get enough of the right people to be part of his party, and different people will become MPs, right? Stop trying to think you're cleverer than Rupert, because you're not, right? All you know is how to hide whatever Mr. Mohammed Fayed got up to. That's about it. Yeah.
Well, we will. We might offer them our vote. I would certainly offer Rupert my vote on the back of his policies. I think his policies and his views are absolutely world class. Paul, why abandon the college? Well, very good reason. Is because, let me just read this one out. Julie Blackman, yes, Paul, way too many. Yes, Paul, many too young to remember. Thank you, Julie. I've not deserted the college. I want to dedicate myself to the truth, an unbiased, non-political position. So, in other words, you can't accuse me of now being biased towards Ben over Rupert. What I'm saying about Rupert is...
No, this is the way you are. This is your MO. This is exactly what I expected to see from you. As soon as Advance lost that by-election last night, which they had no chance of winning anyway, right? You're out. That's it. No, I don't want to be tied to Advance, because that was, slowly but surely I will move over to Restore. Yes, I will move to Restore, because I think they're going to be the winners in the end. But I don't want nothing to do with Advance. They're losers. I mean, what was it? Advanced got 150 votes at this tacky little by-election, right? I can remember when UKIP used to get less than that with Nigel Farage as its leader. Okay. Now look at how many votes he gets with Reform.
What I believe about Rupert, I think Rupert's a good guy, but I think he needs to clean his act up and fast. David Lunn, target the reservation.
So you want to tell someone who actually sits in the House of Commons or did sit in the House of Commons how to clean his act up and fast. You got more experience than Rupert, do you? Yes, you. This guy, honestly, and his ego. You go away, Thorpe. You're not needed. You know, just go away and enjoy Spain. Enjoy the sun. Just go away. You're not needed in any shape or form. Your opinion is not needed because you're acting exactly how a lot of people would have been able to predict you would behave.
Yeah, the trouble is, if I put my aircon on, the bloody thing will go to Bluetooth and you won't be able to hear me.
Oh, we couldn't have that, could we?
Yep, 52% couldn't be asked to vote. What are you talking about? We love Rupert Lowe for who he is. Great, I'm glad you do. I'm sure your love will win him 400 seats in Parliament. Because your love wins votes, doesn't it? You need a lot more than love and a lot more than...
See, I don't understand what he's doing here, right? I'm sure your love will win him 400 seats in Parliament. Restore is 2 weeks old, right? And, you know, to get someone like Restore into power, people have to actually move themselves and go and vote, right? We all know this. So I don't know what Paul is trying to say to people. He's talking to people like they're idiots, right? Just because you got what's the word? You got bamboozled right back when you thought you had reform in your pocket. Remember when you was busying on down there to London to meet this person, to meet that person, you know, convincing Tommy that yes, Tommy's reform. Tommy endorses reform from jail, and we don't want nothing to do with that lot, says Richard Tice. You were played and you were outplayed 100%, and you still haven't fucking learnt by the sound of it.
More than 100,000 members who are passionate to win a general election. Yeah, someone's saying focus on the goal. Exactly. That's what I'm doing now. I'm focusing on unification. Now, I know that might sound crazy this morning, but that's what I'm doing. I'm focusing on unification, trying to get people to talk again, and trying to get Rupert, as I said in my video, if you've missed my video this morning, please watch.
No thanks.
What's your plan then? Vote. What's your plan then? Vote Uni Party. Do you know what? I'll tell you what I'm going to reveal today. And this is again why I've resigned from the Advanced College. I'm going to tell you the truth about something that none of you will ever have known before today. Just want to make sure I didn't miss that last super chat. I hope not. Thank you for that, by the way. I'm going to tell you something today that nobody knows.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you.
Right.
When Advance was in the making, I was asked my opinion on how best to win. How best to win. And my view was to try and take over reform from within. My honest view, my honest opinion, was to hold our noses, get behind reform, get them in power because they have the most realistic chance of winning, the most realistic chance of forming the next government and then take over from within. Just like the Islamic community have done with the Greens. This is how people take over countries. This is how people take over governments. This is how people...
Oh, so you are advocating for sectarian voting. Oh my God. He's advocating for what we complain about. Wow. So you've just proved you can't be trusted. So you wanted to get behind reform. And then once you were all inside reform, because reform really needs you lot, right? I mean, I'll point something out in a minute. You were going to take over from the inside. But how would you get inside of reform when reform, right, Paul? Reform have made it very, very clear they want nothing to do with the likes of you. Nothing. Because they know it's a kiss of death politically. So for you lot to get inside of reform would be a pipe dream. It just would never happen. So if that was the answer you gave when you were asked, how can we win the general election? Well, we should get get involved with reform and take over from the inside. Is that the best you had? Is that it? I don't quite know what he means. I mean, does he mean that they'd all be like inside voted in as MPs, or would they be just ordinary people who were voting, like me or you? What does he actually mean? 'Cause I don't like this segregation voting. I don't like it. And I think he's forgot that reform want nothing to do with the likes of him. He obviously thinks he's more important than he is, right? But this guy is saying that sectarian voting is okay as long as it's on our side. No, it's not.
Gain power. They wait for the people that are able to gain that power to gain it, and then they take it from them. Now, my opinion was we let Nigel Farage, we let Reform, we get behind them, we let them win the election. Meanwhile, we get as many of our people within that party as possible, and there are still plenty of our people in Reform, still plenty, but nowhere near enough because they've weeded them out. And far too many of us have revealed ourselves. They know that we're not genuine supporters. But if we had have allowed and infiltrated Reform, if we'd have infiltrated Reform, allowed them to win, and then bang.
Hang on, wait a minute. What world is he living on? Now, this might have worked when, before Richard Tice said, we want nothing to do with them lot. If you could have been a figure of espionage then, by backing Reform all the way and then taking over once you got in there, yeah, a fucking idiot. Fair enough, but Reform, I keep saying it, have made it very clear the likes of you and people like you are not welcome at Reform. And now you've just dropped other people in it who were at Reform, who maybe have been, slightly on the side of the advanced party by saying, we still got people inside of that. I mean, what the hell? Yeah, you would make a great spy, wouldn't you? Fucking idiot.
You take him over from within, you remove from Nigel Farage, you replace him with Rupert Lowe, you replace him with Bennett Bieber, whoever you need to replace him with, and you take over from within.
Hang on. You can't just remove. Wait a minute. You can't just remove Nigel Farage. For a start, in the House of Commons, I do believe they've got something called the 1922 Committee, where they're the people that can get rid of people. Right? It's not the likes of you fool. Oh my God, I can't believe that he was asked that question and that was the answer he gave. I really can't believe it when he moans about sectarian voting himself. He fucking complains about it, yet that's what he wanted to start doing. Ugh. Tut tut.
A floor plan. Well, I'd like to hear your one. Let's have a listen. You might have a better plan, my friend. I don't know, but that was my initial thought. That was my initial view. Nigel Farage will almost certainly win the next general election. Some idea you can't remove Nigel. Oh yes, you can. You can remove Nigel because if the weight of opinion within his party says he's got to go, he's got to go. Anyone but Labour, Paul, yeah? No, I won't let the haters get to me. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed off of some of their ignorance, some of their abuse, and some of their quite vile comments. But I don't mind. I've got broad shoulders. Yeah, Paul the Lefty, that was funny. So Nigel Farage will probably end up winning the next general election with reform. So if my plan is so flawed, do you not think it would have been nice, it would have been good to have people like Rupert, like Ben? I know he kicked Rupert out, I know he kicked Ben out, but people like that within the party, holding the party to account, because at the moment, what we're going to have is a reform government full of ex-Tories. Agent He,
you know, I'm getting sick of hearing this. Of a reform government full of ex-Tories. No. Reform will reform. It's not, you know, these people have gone to join reform. And I'm sure that Nigel will kick these ex-Tories out if they don't play the game right. Right? It doesn't mean because they're part of the reform that they're safe sitting there, these ex-Tories. Because if they don't play Nigel's game, they'll be out on their fucking ear. And, you know, oh, you can't get rid of Nigel. You can't. What's the matter? Is it that Nigel really is a thorn in your fucking side, isn't he?
Thank you very much, Paul. Thanks for everything you do. It's much appreciated, and we all look forward to your vids and lives. And all the haters, keep up the good work. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Advance is the weakest link on the right. Yeah, you're right, it is. But we still have 40,000 members and a lot of followers. Right? And you need as many followers as you can.
Wait a minute. I didn't know they only had 40,000 members. And he's trying to make a big deal because Rupert's got 100,000 members within 2 weeks. Yet Advance has only got 40,000 members. Oh, and a lot of followers. You couldn't make this up. Honest to God. What did they think? What? Look, Thorpe, you haven't been in this game very long, right? And you've made so many U-turns. You're a bit like Keir Starmer, aren't you? You turn here, you turn there. I'm surprised you ever get anywhere where you're going when you're driving. You make that many U-turns, right? But you need to understand, Paul Thorpe, that your opinion, right, on restore means nothing. Rupert knows what he's doing. I'm just sad that Rupert didn't come along a long time ago. and didn't have the idea of making his party a long time ago. Because it does take time to build up momentum, to build up the household name. That's what you need. You need the household name and the right policies to win, right? And I'm afraid Paul Thorpe is never going to be a household name. Liam Tufts is never going to be a household name. And whoever else he mentioned, right? Remember, the aim of the game are the people that take no notice of politics. The only time they take any notice of politics is when there's an election. Then they have a think and they watch a few TV programs. They recognize certain people. Yes, yes, yes. Vote for them because we recognize them. We know what they stand for. Da, 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 da. And if you're new coming into it, you're not even going to get, because most people get their politics and off the TV still. So most people will not even know about Rupert Lowe and Restore or Ben Habib and his fucking advanced party. I mean, the Raven Looney party is still around. I didn't even know they were still around, but they are. And they got more votes than advanced. So, yeah. You're pretty pissed off today, aren't you, Paul? Yeah.
Yeah. My other idea about how to win, right? How to win.
Right.
And my preferred idea all along was to beg with Rupert Lowe, to beg with Ben Habib, to beg with Nigel Farage, to go to Tommy, to go to everyone on the right and say, please, please, please get together.
What?
Please get together. Please get together.
What is he doing now?
Right, guys, can you see me?
Can you see me? To get together. So we wanted Rupert and Nigel and Ben and different people to go to Tommy and beg and beg and beg for us all to unite and get to. And what does he think that would achieve? You have to remember. Oh, I'm not even going to bother saying it because I'm sick of saying it. And if people don't get it by now, you're never going to get it, right? You're never going to understand it. As far as I'm concerned, Reform are the only ones that are worth voting for in the next election because they're a household name. People recognize them. People recognize Nigel Farage. The other lot, their time will come, but it's not yet. This man's an idiot. Beg, beg, beg. Fuck off.
I'm back. I tell you what happened. The phone overheated in the car window.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm back. Hold on a minute. I've just got to get myself sorted out because the phone overheated in the car window and it shut down. Bear with me a minute. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. 1 second. Stay there, guys. Right, let me get my act together. There you go. I'm going to have to get out so that the phone actually cools down a bit because the heat crashed it.
It's good, isn't it? I mean,
Bear with me.
What clown puts their phone in the wind where the burning sun's coming through?
Yeah, I had an emergency shutdown. Hopefully we will now get okay. Let's have a sit down over here. Can I see you? Let's have a look. Ian, thank you. Phone for the phone, a cold one. Thank you. Yeah, I can park there. I need to get out of the sun a little bit so that I can see the screen a bit better. Oh, what a nightmare. This life, okay. There you go, that's better. I forgot where I got to be fair.
That's where you got to.
So the cry from all of us, Scotty of John, thank you. The by-election should now stand as the biggest warning to the right that division is destroying our country and unity is the only way forward. Fantastic message. My message all along. Oh, I remember where I got to. The begging to people like Ben, to people like Rupert, to all the different factions to get together, to unite for the good of the country. Paul, spread the word. I'm sticking with Ben. Tommy and Richard more bothered about Israel. Do you know how bored I am of that one? Do you know how boring you sound? Telling me and the audience that Tommy and Richard are more interested in Israel than the United Kingdom. Do you know how silly that is? You even begin to understand how wrong you are. Or do you get some kind of kick out of being that wrong? Here's the truth, you see, this is the real, the genuine hard right, the genuine, I don't want to use the term, but they're more worried about the Jews than they are the radical Islamists. That's the one thing that these people have in common. They don't like the Jews. They've got more in common with Hamas. Because they don't like, what do they call them? The small hats. Yeah. When was the last time we had a terrorist attack from the Jewish community in the United Kingdom? But they're more worried about the Jews than they are anyone else.
Oh my God.
And that's the truth.
Right. Unbelievable. A comment from one person. Right. And he's going on about it and on about it. It was just a little comment from one person. Now, anyone at all that follows this kind of political nonsense, right, will know that Tommy Robinson is not more interested in Israel, right? Is not more interested in A, B, or C. Tommy is doing what he's doing. It's keeping him out of trouble, as far as I'm concerned. And he's able to get on with what he's doing at the moment. I believe he's in the USA, floating around doing his reporting and whatever. Richard Inman has never come across as somebody that's more interested in Israel, but that's it. It was a comment that somebody made. Surely to God, Paul, you have enough experience on YouTube to be able to ignore that comment. I mean, I wouldn't have even seen that comment if it had been my stream. I wouldn't have even seen it because it wouldn't have been that important. So I wouldn't have seen it. Wow. Touchy.
Richard called Cole Benjamin an F-owner. He's a quarter black. Look, you better speak to Richard about that one, not me. But some of the rhetoric coming out of these people has not been electable. That's the point. That is the point. What part of that are you guys that support everything else?
A lot of the rhetoric that's come out of your mouth that's come out of Inman's mouth, has come out of Liam Tuft's mouth, has come out of I don't know, everybody's mouths at some point, is not electable. Don't you see that? You're not a statesman. You're not statesman-like. Like I'm not a stateswoman, right? I'm not stateswoman-like. You're not a statesman, and you're not statesman-like. Do you understand? Stop taking yourself so seriously. You have not got the answers for this country. The people that have the answers, unfortunately, all congregate in the House of Commons. And it's up to us, the public, to get the right party in there to congregate in the House of Commons, right? And, you know, love him or hate him, it's going to be Nigel. And that's where all the votes should go, so that the vote doesn't get split. But if it does get split, well, then we deserve everything we get. If people can't think past what they want and just think, well, you know, if I vote for Restore, I know they're not going to get in, but if I vote for Reform, that vote may just be the vote that gets Reform in. I know who I'm not going to vote for. I'm going to vote for Reform, even though, you know, I believe more in Restore. But you've got to play it tactfully. And playing it tactfully does not mean voting for a party you know is not going to win the next election. They haven't got a chance. And neither has Advanced. There's only one party that does, and that's Reform.
Or what? Sorry, that's the wrong expression. Sorry, I'm crossing the road. What part of bad rhetoric do you not understand is unelectable? Do you not understand what unelectable means? I'm not being rude, I'm just pointing out facts.
Right. Okay, how about this fact, Paul? Mohammed Fayed, it turned out to be a right wrong'un, as they say, right? And it turns out a lot of people were covering up for him. You have made claims that, you know, he was a great man and you worked for him for several years. You were his right-hand man. That makes you unelectable. Sorry.
Hi, Lubna. Thank you very much. It's not the 1970s anymore, Paul. Times change. They do change indeed.
What's that got to do with anything?
Sivnats bore me, Swift Governor. Well, Sivnats, if Sivnats bore you, and I don't know what I would describe myself as, I don't describe myself a couple of, what would you call them? Really tough looking, sort of crazy looking guys, right? And one of them had an SS toe on his neck, right? One of them had an SS toe on his neck. And on the other side, he had a white power symbol, right? That's far right. That's the real far right. Now, that ain't a bit of me, and it shouldn't be a bit of you, right? And if it is, then we're not on the same side. My grandfather fought in the war against that stuff. But just because you're against that stuff doesn't mean to say you still can't be a right-wing patriot, does it?
Well, no, because conservatives are meant to be fucking right wing, but they've proven that they're not. And as for bloody two S's on his neck and fucking white power on the other side, what? Of course, people don't want nothing to do with people like that. Those days have gone. Those days have absolutely gone, I'm glad to say. Yeah, there's a few of them scattered around now, here and there, but mainly in Europe. Yeah, a lot of them are in Europe, to be honest, and funnily enough, a lot of them are in Germany still, and countries like that. Ask Tommy. Tommy'd be able to tell you where they are because he's, yeah, just saying, like, because yeah.
And here's the thing. The guy a minute ago, the Jewish gentleman. These are the people, these are some of the people that are now entered our space, entered the arena, and are causing a lot of this problem.
What Jewish gentleman?
The truth, why is black power okay? No, it's not. Of course, it's a stupid question. Of course it's not okay. Dino Bain is better than all of you lot. Well, look, go and watch Dino. What are you watching me for?
Hang on. Oh. Black power in this country, I agree, not needed. But in America, you see, do you know, people are so fucking stupid. On one of my many Facebook pages, right, I used to have a picture of the Olympics when the black guy who'd won the 100 meters or something and was getting a gold medal made the black power sign way back in the 1970s. It was looked upon as such an outrageous thing for him to do, but it was such a good thing for him to do because in America, black people are treated a lot different to how they're treated here. Why we've even got onto this is beyond me. This proves, you know, Paul Thorpe doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. I mean, he's actually made a live where all he's doing is talking to the fucking chat. What's that about?
Yeah, Mads, I hate all these labels. I just want what's best for my family. Don't we all? Well, some of us, some of you don't.
Oh. Yeah, people think you're nuts talking to your phone, mate.
All behave, there won't be an SS tower amongst the 1.5 watchers. No, there probably won't. I didn't say there was. Where did I say that? What I'm saying is that among some of those causing the trouble are people that have very extreme, genuinely extreme views. Paul, tell us this, who gets deported? Great question. What a great question. I'm going to enjoy answering that one. Who gets deported? Right, well, first of all, we start by stopping the boats. All right, that's the first job. And that could be done in one day. You just say, no, simple as that, job done. Right? Stop the boats. You empty all the hotels, all the residences where these people are residing, and you ship them back. And you do it as peacefully and as quietly as you can without trying to cause a riot. Then you then move to all the foreign-born criminals that are in jail. I don't know how many that is. I think it's about 40,000. Maybe more. You deport all foreign-born criminals, regardless of colour. Couldn't give a shit what colour they are. If they're a criminal and they're foreign-born, out you go. And then you introduce new laws, just like there are here in Spain, where I am right now. I'm on a visa. If I break the terms of my visa, I'll be deported. I.e., if I start committing crimes, they'll kick me out. So the new laws would say that any foreign-born resident living in the UK that commits a crime above, I don't know, a speeding fine or, any crime of a serious nature, and that would include shoplifting, bike theft, etc., out you go. And you would soon get rid of hundreds of thousands of people. Now, hundreds of thousands is probably not enough. We probably need to get rid of 2 or 3 million, if not more.
Well, I don't know what he's talking about. We need to get rid of about 10 million. 10 million for this country to be able to run properly, right? But the last thing we want are people taking advice from Paul Thorpe. Right, first of all, what I'd do is I'd stop the boats and we'd be able to do that in one day. No, you wouldn't. No, you see, this is not living in reality. No, you wouldn't be able to do that in one day. You see, when you're talking like this, you have to think of the reality of the situation. It could take a week or maybe 2 weeks, but you couldn't stop everything in one day. I mean, yeah, I'm not even going to go there.
You ban the burqa, you ban halal meat. People will start to self-deport. Paul, can you define what Britain is? What, to me personally or factually? To me personally, Britain is the unity of 3 countries: England, Scotland and Wales, and the United Kingdom includes Northern Ireland. I have worked out, Paul, you are a Euronet. Our pathway, isn't that what Rupert's policies state? This is the message. This is the point. I'm on Rupert's side, right? I like what he says.
Of course you're on Rupert's
I like what Ben says. But if they don't get together, how the fuck are they ever going to win anything? Everyone needs to get together. Tommy, Ben, Nick Tenconi, everyone on the right needs to get together.
Look, he's gone into fucking fairy dust land now, right? He really has. Excuse me, but does he think that, the 70 million people that live in this country have heard of all these people? Because they haven't. I've told you in this stream, and I'm going to keep saying it. It has to be a household name. It has to be a proven party. People now recognize Nigel Farage. They recognize his policies. They recognize everything about his party. He'll get voted in. I'm not going to waste my vote, right? I'm personally not going to waste a vote on something that I know is not going to get voted in this time around, just because I don't want to vote for another party. No, it's going to reform. I won't be voting Labour. I won't be voting Conservative. We have to stop the Green Party, obviously, because we don't want them teaming up with another party, say the Conservatives or Labour. They could do either, So we have to realise that, for once, don't ask what your country can do for you. What the old Kennedy saying. Ask what you can do for your country. And what you can do, people, for your country this time round is vote tactically, right? Vote tactically. Whether or not you hate Nigel Farage, right? It's got to be better than what we've got right now. That's the way you've got to look at it. Get rid of the Conservatives, get rid of the Labour. We don't need them anymore. We get reform in, and that'll pave the way for Restore, right? And Restore will probably win the next election after Reform have been in for 5 years. That's the way I see it. And that's the way I'm going to go with it. Him talking about Tommy and all these people that don't fucking matter. They matter in their own right. They matter as individuals, but they don't matter as collectives. People are not going to, well, people who I know are not going to vote for a party just because Tommy Robinson happens to tell them to say so, or because Liam Tufts is going to do so, or because Paul Thorpe is going to do it. No, they're not sheep, right? They'll make their own minds up. And if you can't put the country before your own damn feelings, there's something wrong with you this time round. Vote tactically and reform will get in. Simple, really. I'm sick of it listening to him. He's a fucking idiot. Yeah. So, yeah, that was my little view on Paul Thorpe and his whinging video today. I mean, he sat on Lubna's last night, and had to listen to Lubna saying how much, advanced are pointless and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, he listened. And by this morning, he'd resigned from that silly college. Yeah. I know, Jupiter. I know you want. I know you want Rupert. I would love Rupert Lowe to be called our next prime minister. But the reality of it is, they just haven't been around long enough. It's not going to. The reality of it is that they haven't been around long enough. I keep saying it because it's true. I can remember when Nigel Farage was like Rupert Lowe. Hardly anyone out of the bubble of politics had heard of him. And it's those people that don't get into politics on a daily basis that helped vote in whichever government party gets into government. And they're the people that Nigel Farage is trying to get the vote off, right? And I don't blame him. Yeah, you can't blame him for trying to do that. I just wish that Rupert Lowe had come up with the idea 4 or 5 years ago, and by now he'd be ready and he'd be a household name. His party would be a household name. And yeah, he would be ready to win the next election. But unfortunately for us, he's not at the moment. Because that's the way politics is. People vote for what they recognize. I mean, I was astounded when I heard that the Raven Looney Party up in Manchester, right, got more votes than Advanced. I mean, come on. If that doesn't tell you that because people don't really know about Advanced, right, then hardly anyone voted for them. I can't believe that people still waste their vote, though, on the Raven Looney Party or whatever they're called. So, no, I mean, Paul Thorpe, he actually makes me sick. Because I'm telling you, within 4 weeks, he's going to be a staunch Restore supporter, right? And he kept dragging Tommy into his little moan, right? Oh, yeah, we got to look at Tommy. How many times has Tommy Robinson said he does not want to become or get into politics? So why does he keep dragging his name into it? Yeah? This is typical Paul Thorpe, that we had to put up with when a few years ago when he first came on the scene. Then he, and he was running around going to meet different important people that we weren't allowed to know who they were. Then he went talking in Tommy's ear, endorse reform, endorse reform. Yeah, that did a lot of good, didn't it? That did a hell of a lot of good. That did. So what I will try to do is put the link in, but like last night, I'm not sure if it will let me. I did put it in the description. Whether it's showing up there or not, I don't know. Because it seems YouTube is doing to me what it's doing to Easy. I don't understand. Yeah, it's not letting me post the links, eh? So could someone see if it is in the... I did put it in the description. I don't understand why it's doing this. Guests can stream this to their owner. Let me have a look. Oh, fucking hell. Ah, right. How did Jupiter get on there then?
It's in your description. You got 2 in there though.
You what, love?
I said it's in your description, but you've got 2 there.
No, one is the one that StreamYard puts there, right?
Oh, okay.
And then the other one, so it is in the description. That's all right then. But yeah, bloody YouTube's messing around like it with mine, like it is with Easy's, and I don't understand why. Anyway, so do you see what I'm getting at with old Rupert?
Yeah, I kind of get your point, but for me, I'm a bit more, well, I suppose, skeptical. I don't trust Farage, not as far as you can throw him. I don't, Wendy. I've seen too much, and in recent weeks, what with the Alex Phillips stuff, I'm just like, nah. Even if I get you out to keep, even if I put you in to keep them out, it is voting them in. It's just that you're going to do it behind the scenes. So that's the way I look at it. I'm just like, well, other people have got more faith in him than me. That's fine, because I understand having faith in somebody's ideals. I'm not angry. I'm not going to sort of slag people off if that's where they still think it's strategic. But for me, no. No, I get the strategics, but I just don't think it'll make a difference. I think all the backdoor dealing, all the corruption I've seen, all of this paedophilic stuff, all of this, you know.
Yeah, I get all that, right? But the paedophilic stuff has nothing to do with Nigel Farage.
What I'm saying is all of the corruption and everything else that is within the system at the moment, okay, with the people that are already established and walking across the floor in Parliament. I know amongst them there's going to be good people, but there seems to be a hell of a lot of bad people. Yeah. And they're all making dodgy deals. And the one thing that we've now got absolute proof of is that our government doesn't care about the people. Successive governments do not care about the people.
No, they don't. No.
And therefore, you've got to go with somebody that actually really from the heart cares about the people. And I would say somebody who's willing to put their own money, stand by their principles, and understands, okay, how he's got to keep his reputation clean so that he can make sure, you know what I mean?
How do we get past this fact that Rupert and his party are very new and not well known? How do you get past that for, say, the dream to come true, and
So
restore
I think his name
getting to
isn't.
government.
Yeah, so his name isn't that well known at the moment, but it is known enough because Farage is high profile himself now, and he threw
Yes.
Rupert out the party. So everybody knows that he was thrown out of the party, right? Yeah, they all
Right.
know who Rupert is, and they all and because it was reported on what happened, a lot of people are aware the man's not senile. Farage has actually
No.
admitted that he threw him out because he disagreed with his politics, even though he's promoting that politics now. So the thing is, when you say, well, how do we make Rupert high profile? Farage already did that. And now we've got Jeremy Clarkson as well that says that he's going to be with Rupert. He's high profile. He'll be speaking a lot.
You know, there's nothing more I'd love than to wake up that day after the, you know, and hear that Rupert Lowe has won, kind of thing. But the other part of me just says all the time, if it's not going to be Restore because they're a new party, it has to be Farage's party.
Yeah, but people need to realise there's not going to be a difference.
But there will be a difference. He has to change something. We get our free speech back, Jupiter. That's one difference, right? We're not going to be living in Stalingrad for much longer once we get rid of Starmer and co.
I don't think that Farage will come in and change anything.
Oh, he will. He doesn't stand. He doesn't.
Listen, when we've got a couple of successive governments that have already lied to our faces, already sold us out, he's trying to tell us they're staving off civil war, while women and children are being, you know what, from the top of the country to the bottom of the country.
Yeah, but
yeah, people are getting stabbed. They're frightened to go out, Wendy. That is war. We are living in a civil war.
Yeah, but the way through that is by who's in government, and it's not. To me, it's only Nigel Farage and Reform that can change anything, because the others are not going to do anything. Labour, Conservative, they're not going to do nothing.
Nor are Reform. Reform's dodgy enough, right? What I'm trying to make you see, Wendy, or the way I see it, and I could be wrong. I'm not telling you that I'm right. I'm just explaining how I see it.
Yeah.
I look at Nigel Farage and I think, do I trust you enough, yeah, that you know that these governments are getting away with blue murder? They're getting away with murder and rape, literally, and have been for a very long time. Covering up sexual offences, covering up all their corruption, covering up giving out state secrets, lining their own pockets. And they do not care about the citizens because they believe they've got the citizens under enough control that they can carry on taking the pee. So far that they're bringing in thousands and thousands of people and giving them everything right in front of their faces. Yeah.
Well,
do I trust Farage enough to know that he knows that? Because we know it, he knows it, and he talks to us, he knows what we're talking about. Do I trust him not to walk in there and go, well, do you know what? I don't need to change anything. I might as well get for myself now.
I'd rather take the risk, actually, and see what he does change than keep the status quo. I don't think I could put up with another Labour.
Yeah, but the one thing that he won't change is anything that the people causing the problem, the Islamics, the extreme radical Islamics want. He won't change any of that. He don't care.
Well, I've been learning over the past, few weeks. It's not just extreme, neither. The moderate ones are the ones that pave the way for these people to get into government. They're the ones that hunt the streets, go around the houses and get people to go and vote like they did in Manchester. It's the moderate ones that take, and then of course behind the moderate ones waiting to take over are the extreme ones.
Wendy, at this point in time, I don't care whether they're moderate or they're not moderate. If they're working against the citizens that are already living here and they think they can get away with murdering them, stabbing them, raping them, pillaging them, and they think that that's okay, and then to bring in policies that is actually unfair, when we fought for the rights of people to be equal, we stood along the black people. You see, this is the age group that I come from, Wendy.
Look, Dupes.
We stood shoulder to shoulder with people that didn't want apartheid. And
Yeah,
the minute comes, the whole groups of people to turn around and be prejudiced against white people. Where is anybody else? We've got a handful of people that do stand with us. Handful of people.
Yeah, but the way
so small that you can literally name them, and none of them are in Parliament.
No,
not one.
But the way I look at it is those other two parties, so fucking Labour and Conservative, they've had their chance, they've blown it.
But they all say the same thing, Wendy. We're not allowed to speak out, or we're racist.
We haven't give Reform a chance.
Even Reform tell us we're racist if we speak out.
Well,
we're known as that lot, the knuckle draggers. Yes, we are, Wendy. And what is it that we really want?
No.
Think about it, Wendy. What is it we really want? You're not a knuckle dragger. I'm not a knuckle dragger. But what is it we really want? Justice for our women and kids.
No, Tice wasn't referring to people like us when he said that.
But we're the people.
We know who he was on about, because Paul Thorpe kept saying he was going to have meetings with him all the fucking time, getting Tommy Robinson to endorse Reform when he was in prison. Remember?
All the more reason, Wendy. I'm sorry, they're all in bed together. That's what I see, and I might be wrong, Wendy, but you're not going to.
Okay, so let me
change my mind on that. You're not.
No. So that's your opinion. That's what you think, right? And fair enough. So you tell me, who is going to lead the country then? Who is going to govern the country? Because it's not going to be Restore.
Well, we have to seriously get behind Restore and make it Restore.
Yeah, it won't be though.
But we need to make it.
If
we can make decent people in Reform see that, we can make them see it, and other people and everybody else that supports them, then yes, there will be a power to reckon with. Yes. We don't need to aim for Labour's voters, and we don't need to aim for the Green Party's voters. If we can get Farage's to add to our
if we could take away,
that would be it.
If so I don't know how, if we could take away the people who are going to vote for Reform and they vote for Restore,
yep,
then yes, I'd say right, because that's going to make them very, as I refer to a party, a household name, right? But that's going to take a lot of hard work by.
But don't you think that Rupert's smart enough to have known that when he said?
I think Rupert Lowe. I think Rupert Lowe is a very smart individual. And as far as I'm concerned, anyone on the right, how you can disagree with what Rupert Lowe said is beyond me, because you can't disagree with anything that man said. Nothing. Everything he said, and when he says it as well, you can see it's coming from the heart. You can see it's inside of him.
Yeah,
I think he's felt this way for a long, long time.
You see, the problem is, Wendy, I think one good point that you made tonight, well, you made a couple, but one thing that stands out to me is that a lot of people have been deceived in thinking that the closeness between somebody that might want to run a party and people that are actually activists or people that are floating voters that actually say online that they like somebody and they're going to vote for them and they're going to actually pay money just to support them. is much further apart than what these sort of like wannabe middlemen are perceiving it to be.
Oh, yeah.
Squashing it too close together, right? And therefore trying to use guilt by association. So you'll get some knobhead who's way out there, right? Who marches around like he's somebody from the KKK or from wherever and says, oh, I'm voting Rupert Lowe and I've paid for membership. Yeah, big up Rupert Lowe. And they go, what?
Yeah.
What? You're not allowed to pay money to be a member. And you can't vote for him.
But no, he also...
Nobody's got any right to tell anyone who they can vote for. No one.
So, no, I completely agree. You vote for who you want. But what is it that Thorpe has against that bloke that you like, whose name I could... Connor, is it Connor Tomlinson?
Because he gave a speech, Wendy. It all boils down to Connor gave a speech and said, let Rupert run free or something like this. It was a quote from some book that I haven't read, so I'm not going to make out that I'm that scholarly. So I don't know the exact words, but it was something like he said, let Rupert run free so that he can be like Caesar or something to those words.
Oh, okay.
And that got Richard in a fluff and said, that's a dictator, this, that, and the other, and you're making it all about the man. But it was somebody that really likes Rupert Lowe, who commentates on politics, who's putting it in his own words. It's not an authorised speech that's to be given as a public address. Do you know what I mean?
Can you remember the days, Jupiter? You must be able to, like me, when it didn't really matter what the so-called different party leaders looked like, their personal lives or anything else. All that mattered was their policies, you know. But now it seems to be like you got to have the right look, you got to have the right. Just so many different things have come into play.
I think that's what they've tried to push, Wendy. But this is the reason why I can't go along with Farage. Because for me, it's not about whether Farage is white, black, brown, or in between. For me, it's the fact that he's told us that it's not feasible to actually make the Muslim community anti, which, by the way, nobody said we want to make the Muslim community anti. What we've said is those of the Muslim community that actually want to be here, integrate, assimilate, and actually work and put into the system and live by our laws, we ain't got a problem with. Right?
Yeah.
But if you have got a problem with living by our laws and you don't want to assimilate and you don't like living amongst us, you know, you're going to be either free to go or eventually you will be removed depending on your actions. I mean, that's a reasonable position to have. Right? But it's too reasonable for Farage to accept that as, okay, that's a reasonable position. He wants to say, oh, no, that's far right. You can't do that. No, we can't say anything towards the Muslim community at all because that'll make them anti us.
Oh, yeah.
So now we're sitting here like, okay, so what do you want us to do, Farage? We can't vote for you. You've just told us you can't do what we want you to do. And what we want you to do is get all the violent people out. What we want you to do is stop bringing in violent people. What we want you to do is reduce the amount of numbers so that our children are not suffering. We're not suffering. Our husbands are not suffering. The workers of this country are not suffering. The taxpayers of this country are not suffering. Don't care about the colour of their skin or anything else, but we're not going to focus on that because that's not what's bothering us. What's bothering us is the impact and the lack of safeguarding they have given to their citizens through their policies. And the only way to solve it is to cut the wheat from the chaff. But nobody seems to want to do that because they're scared that one section's going to get upset and they're going to be screaming and shouting. Well, they ain't been bothered when we've been screaming and shouting.
Well, we've been screaming.
But they don't want us to take it to the next level, do they? Because they're petrified, because we're still the majority. So why do they keep pretending, these people and officials, that they're the ones, right, that have got all the power? They've got all the legislation, but only if people go along with it. And people are waking up, and they're waking up quick, sharp. Quick, sharp.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it's he's better than what we've got now. That's all.
Well,
in a perfect world,
is he though, Wendy? Is he? Do you think?
Yeah, he's much
how
better
many people
than
do you
Farmer.
think?
Yeah.
How many people do you think he's fraternised that probably were a bit dodgy? Do you think he might have got on with Peter Mandelson behind the scenes? Do you think?
Well, we can't do anything about that. I mean, who was it I heard today? Actually, was apparently, you know, and another one that Charles used to be great mates with was fucking Peter Mandelson or whatever he's called, Charlie Boy, another wrong one that he was friends with for 20 odd years, Dupes. You know, we can't do anything about that.
No, but what I'm saying is, Wendy, it's all connected. Even if he never did anything wrong, I'm not suggesting that Farage did anything inappropriate like that, right? There's never been any whiff of that. But was he aware of whispers in Whitehall?
Look.
Well, listen, Wendy. Listen, Wendy. What we're talking about is that there's high-level corruption that's so serious. Yeah, so serious that they've took a prince away from it, or trying to get his succession off him. I don't know if they've done that now, but they were trying to get his succession off him. They've moved away his titles, took him off his property, everything else. If you can do that to a prince, and rightly so, because if what he was involved in is that bad, you know, okay, but you know, if you can do that to a prince, why can't we get ordinary citizens that are evil, rapists and murderers out of this country?
Because they don't want to. The government that are in at the moment have got no intention of doing anything apart from making it worse.
Or the government from before, or the Green Party that are just going in, or Nigel Farage, who says that you can't alienate that community. See, for me, they're all of them lot are all the same, which is why I can understand people didn't go and vote for reform, because it won't make no blind bit of difference. Not yet. It's only one party, but when you start getting all of them, and within their party, go on.
Yeah, but Dupes, there was dodgy voting going on last night, you know, and yesterday. Well, apparently Reform have put complaints in here, there and everywhere and with the police because it's unfair that was allowed to happen. And we all know what community that will have happened in.
Yeah, I know, Wend. But the thing is, that's been going on for about 20 years. When he was told, I mean, that look, the one thing that you got to give this particular community, right? They're as good as us at finding as good as the working class of white finding loopholes when they really want something. Let's be honest. A few years ago, they were voting in Labour by having 2 or 3 addresses. We all know that it came out that they believed there was postal election fraud going on, loads of it. But has anything ever been done about it? No.
Because I think last night was the first time that the people who monitor the voting place, right, actually spoke up and said what they'd seen happen in that area of voting they had never seen before. It was so they made it so clear what they were up to.
Okay.
So, Farage has put his complaint in and all the rest of it. I mean, whether it gets anywhere, who knows? But it seems to me that all the parties, the Labour, Conservative, the Green Party, Farage, I'm not going to put Restore in there.
Listen, Wendy,
They're all scared. They're all scared, and they're all fighting for that Muslim vote. But I thought there was only 6% of Muslims in this country.
Well, they're obviously lying to us. That's why we haven't done the latest census. Why do you think they stopped doing censuses? Because they knew the real statistics. When you go to some parts of London and you walk in them, you can walk through street after street after street, not just the high street, street after street after street, before you see somebody that's indigenous. Now, I know that you can say, well, there's the reverse goes on. Yeah, true. But this was an indigenously white country. Now, the colour of someone's skin doesn't matter. But when you walk down the streets and it's a completely different culture, you can't go and ask someone for assistance because you can't understand their language. You don't understand their customs, so you don't know if you're offending somebody who's going to get so enraged that they want to chop off your head. That's the reality of it, isn't it? Come on.
Well, I don't like the fact that in Whitechapel they run around saying you can't do this here because it's a Muslim area. No, that's like us. So can you imagine us standing in the middle of some park somewhere? I don't know. Let me think now. Thorpe Park. And say, well, you can't come in here. This is a Christian area. Do you see what I'm saying? I can't believe they're getting away with saying that. Listen, or is that what has to happen?
I don't think people want to go to those areas anymore, Wendy, because they're not safe. People don't even women. People do not even really want to challenge it because they're not safe. That's all we're asking for. When they sit here and they go, it's to do with racism, it's to do with this, it's to do with that. No, all we literally want as English people is to be ourselves and comfortable in our own country that we were born into, a culture we were raised within.
Well, if things don't change, we're going to end up with all the money people leaving this country, all the companies leaving this country, and we'll be left with as a third world country with people who cannot, just don't have the same kind of money as the billionaires that will have gone because they can't stand the country anymore.
I understand where you're coming from. But for me, it doesn't matter whether it's Farage or Labour or Conservative. I think they're all as dodgy as each other. They've all been in each other's pockets. Just having a familiar face as the front man is not, behind the scenes, there's dodgy dealings all still going on, and it's just as corrupt as if we put anybody else in. None of them are looking after us. Because even when we've got people that are supposed to represent us, and when I say us, I mean all of us, not small communities, all of us equally, they bring in equity and all the woke nonsense, and they all play by that. And none of us want it anymore. I want to live in a world, Wendy, where if you're here, you're peaceful. Okay, you're not a perfect person. You might make the odd mistake, like you might be rude every other day, or maybe not the best of personalities, but you don't harm no one. Do you know what I mean? I don't care. You're not got to be perfect. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't harm no one. You just want to live peacefully, and you want to contribute into this country. You want to have your family grow up here, be safe, and everybody get on. I ain't got a problem with you. But if you're going to come here and you want to do all this other nonsense and you want to use all the woke stuff that you know is not really fair, to cause injustices up and down the country and then turn a blind eye?
Well, yeah, that's been a major problem.
Then no, something's got to be done.
Did you see what they've done to the to Churchill's statue today?
Yeah, that's pathetic as well.
No, but that would, what's going on? Are you trying to tell me, Dupes, that London is one of the most monitored places in the world, right? Camera-wise. So nobody was around and nobody could see the people who did that to that statue.
Yeah, that's mad. That's mad. They must know who it is. There must be cameras around there. But they're trying to whip things up as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
But the thing is, they don't understand. And I know that there's a lot of people living in society at the moment who are still getting up to see the changes, but have never really felt the problem. But the fact of the matter is that assaults and all the rest of the stuff, everything that goes with a higher society has gone, Wendy. We are already at a danger. Women have always had to worry about sexual assaults, no matter what age they are.
Yeah, always.
Right? But if we be truthful, Wendy, we knew that the odds were you'll get the nutters that go for children. Then it's all like, then it divides into those that for going after both, and then those that are going after females or men, right? But so we know that there's different sort of like motivations. But to have so many older people assaulted as well wasn't really that common, Wendy.
No, I agree on all that.
More and more common. Yeah. Assaults in hospitals wasn't really that common, Wendy. You know what I mean? Everywhere it's gone up. Yeah. Even the ones where it used to be like random crime, all of a sudden it's not like random anymore. It's like every frigging fucking day.
Well, yeah, it's an everyday thing, isn't it? That's why it's treated like an everyday occurrence, if you like, and the police. All right, yeah, because it's been accepted now. All right, so they're going to kick off, and then that'll make them kick off, and nobody in authority seems to give a shit. Nobody seems to want to stop it.
Exactly, Wendy. So
it gets to the point where it can't be stopped.
And when you have got somebody that tells you that they understand the problem, and then they publicly say, oh, actually, I don't, because, we don't want to upset that society and we've got to live with them and this, that and the other, and actively going against you. And you're throwing people out of your party. And then 5 minutes later down the road in a year, you want to turn around and say exactly the same thing as what you threw somebody out your party for. Forget the actual personalities. It's the principles of it all, Wendy. And I'm looking and thinking, wow, just wow. So out of everybody that I can see in politics, the only one that is going into the Houses of Parliament right now and getting a wage from there, who keeps his word, is Rupert Lowe.
Right. So, Rupert Lowe, right? Does he have any... has he said who else is going to be in his party, like his MPs? Has he said anything?
He's only been going 2 weeks.
I know. I'm asking you because Paul Thorpe was making a big thing out of it. So I thought, well, I'll ask Jupiter, because I'm not sure.
Well, I'm obviously not privy to inside stuff. So
I wondered if
but from what I've seen elsewhere, no, nothing's been settled. I mean, he's got people that have joined him so far as representatives. So the only 2 that I can remember off the back of my head is Orla from the Pink Ladies. That's the blonde woman with the long hair.
Right.
She's going to be a woman's representative because she's upset with what happened at Epping.
Well, it's time to have a woman
And she's been a
representative.
really good spokesperson. She's been also somebody who's very organised, right? So I can see why she was probably good. Do I know much more than that about her? No. And then, what's his name? Jeremy Clarkson.
Oh, right. So there's been no mention of that guy from the Lotus Eaters then, Carl. Is it Carl Benjamin?
Not as a big thing, but Paul Thorpe talks as if Carl Benjamin is somebody important.
Yeah.
I think that maybe they might advise him, like have chats with him and say what they think. But I don't think they're in any real position. And if they are, it hasn't been sort of like publicly mentioned. No.
So is Rupert Lowe an independent MP, James?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Now.
Right.
Yeah.
And but then you get the likes of Paul Thorpe, who thinks he knows better than Rupert Lowe. Do you see how hypocritical that is? You know, Rupert. So that tells me that Rupert Lowe already knows the ups, the downs, the scheming that goes on, the games you've got to play inside that cesspit. Do you understand what I'm saying? So he's not a novice, Jupiter. Whereas Paul Thorpe is trying to talk about him, as though he's a novice that doesn't know what he's doing.
Exactly.
Well, that's wrong.
The thing is, you're right. Louise is right. Rupert said he wants representatives from each industry as MPs. He wants people that are connected to what they're going to represent, basically.
Oh, okay.
So they've got a little bit of expertise. So this is what I'm saying, Wendy. All this, apparently the country's going to be run by Steve Laws and Cole Benjamin, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I mean, when he said Carl Benjamin, I thought, don't think so, because we all know what Carl Benjamin said that time, don't we? And anything like that comes out of the woodwork is never good. But
it's the same tactic that we had all the way back when Tommy first got popular, and then they got Tommy put in prison, and you had everybody vying for a position, if you remember rightly. And you had all these little people because he got thrown off of Facebook. He couldn't have a voice on.
Oh, that time round. Oh, yes.
Yeah, Tommy, when he couldn't have a voice on Facebook. You had all these people coming out saying that they could do this, they could do that, everything else, right? And, all the followers that used to follow Tommy just come over here, not realising that people followed Tommy organically because of what they were beginning to see. People have stood by groomed girls and other people because they could see organically that this is actually a fact. It's not because they're prejudiced. They could actually see that it was going on, and they could see where it was going to go to if it was unchecked. But these people were so small-minded to think that there might be other reasons involved, and come over here now, come to our group. We'll do this, we'll do that.
Yeah, I remember it very well. Yeah, I do remember.
Do you remember people sitting on panels and saying, oh, yeah, Tommy Robbins, no, I'm not making it about Tommy, I'm trying to compare.
Yeah.
Saying, oh, yeah, well, Tommy's redundant. He's never going to be able to get his voice heard. He's never going to be able to do this. He's never going to be able to do that.
Yeah, that was the end of him, yeah. And I got the same vibe a few years ago when he went to jail, when Mr. Thorpe popped up.
Oh, yeah.
And can you remember how he said he'd been whispering in Tommy's ear? Yeah. So Tommy comes out and endorses reform, and then reform do what they do and make Tommy look like a right fucking fool, because Tommy never wanted to endorse reform. Paul Thorpe talked him into it.
Well, exactly. And then he found out that while he was inside, Nigel Farage had been slagging him off. I don't know.
Yes.
All of it is just mental, Wendy. There's been a lot of misguidance from people, but Tommy has made it to America now. He's doing really well. He's getting information out there about the injustices that are going on in this country. And I think people have forgotten that that's what it boils down to, the injustices that people are suffering.
Well, you know, going back to Tommy getting into America, that for me showed how much things are starting to change in small ways.
Oh,
Because a few years ago, he would never have got into America, Dupes, never. Yeah, but now he's allowed in because you know he was banned, wasn't he? He wasn't allowed in. Now they've let him in, and he's wandering around America. And to me, he's wandering around America doing his reporting. But whilst he's doing that, he's not getting in trouble, is he? You know, he's not coming up against the idiots in this country that like to cause a problem just so they can take him to court, and he ends up in trouble again.
yeah, exactly. You know.
But he does. I'm right when I say, because you know, I'm sure I'm right when I say that Tommy Robinson has always said he doesn't want to become political, like join to some political party.
He's not really. He said no. He just wants justice.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's all he's ever fought for, Wendy. Justice. People just couldn't see that that's what he was saying because it got clouded by other people saying, oh, it's because of race. Oh, it's because you don't like this one or you don't like that one. No, he was very realistic about what the causes were. But all he wanted was justice.
Yeah.
Because why should we be having a police force that's not giving justice to people? Otherwise, why bother having them at all? Why should we have governments that are not giving justice to everybody when they're claiming that they've got equality laws, 2010?
You see, everything that's going wrong, like the police force and everything, the path always leads back to one place, and that is the government, Jupiter. If the government changed its view tomorrow on certain things, the police would have to do what the government wanted to do.
Yeah,
Where they try to tell us that the police are separate from the fucking government, no, they're not. I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, no, nor do I believe that at all. But why is the government acting the way in which it is? Because it's heavily influenced, one, through financial gain, and two, because of which is from outsiders and people that want to manipulate us for their benefit of their countries. Yeah, whilst having the cheek to send their citizens to say that we can't manipulate anything for our benefit, which is quite ridiculous when you're living in this country. I don't understand why you think like that. That's the first thing. And the second thing is because not only have you got the influences from financial influences, you've now got people who've put themselves in power because people couldn't be bothered to go out and vote because we've had too many people saying, oh, don't bother, the system doesn't work. So I do agree with you, Wendy, that people need to vote.
Yeah,
if it's going to be Farage and no one, then pick Farage. Yeah, I've got no problem with that. But for me, myself personally, and I understand your strategic way of thinking, but for me, myself personally, I think, yeah, it's realistic to look at not 29 election and look at the one after that and say, okay, Rupert Lowe's more likely to get that. But I still think that there's it's a slim chance, but the chance is still there that we could get him in 29. And I really believe that could happen.
Well, that would be glorious
behind him. So that's for me, you know. I could be wrong. I might have to wait until the election after. But I do think that is the flow that it's going in, and that's the man that I think the flow should go in. You know, so that's for me personally.
Yeah. No, I understand that, but it's just the way things are going. I was watching your stream earlier when you had AY doing what he was doing, And
Yeah.
I was just shaking my head thinking, why has it come to this? Well, not like AY going looking at, doing what he's doing, just the fact that people are now having to do this because we can't even trust the media. I mean, we can't trust anyone, it seems.
When did
Anyone.
church got burnt down in Southall?
Pardon?
A church got burnt down in Southall about a week ago. I mean, that's a London suburb. No one spoke about it. It's all over X, but no one spoke about it.
What? And oh, right.
Yeah, there was church on fire. I mean, they've put it out and stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, Wendy, these things used to be on our news. It would be important.
But they're not now, are they?
No, not at all. And when they are, it's like we're living in the Twilight Zone. They talk about it from a completely different perspective. They'll put someone on the telly and say this man's got a suspended sentence, and you'll be like, what?
Yeah.
For what?
Well, he raped 2 girls, so yeah, he got a suspended sentence. I'm at the point where I really don't recognise this country, and I mean it, Jupiter. It's starting to annoy me and make me angry because I'm starting not to recognise this country now. And when I see when I see something to do with World War II or World War One, or how many young men died in those wars and all the rest of it, instead of sitting there thinking, well, at least, they fought for our country and we've got our country. Now I find myself thinking, what a waste of life. Why did they bother?
Wendy,
because of what we've ended up with.
I agree with you.
I
agree with you. But then we wouldn't exist if they didn't bother.
No, but do you see the essence of what I'm trying to say?
I think it's terrible, Wendy. It's sad.
Yeah, that's the word for it. Yeah. Sad.
It's sad. Yeah. And then when you find that not restore. When you find out that Reform comes second and didn't win in Gorton and Denton, right? Because Rupert Lowe wasn't even involved in that. His party's not up yet.
No, he didn't.
Right?
Even, yeah.
And it's because all of the ethnic minorities come out to vote, and the rest of the people couldn't be bothered.
Because they keep getting told it's pointless voting. Don't bother to vote.
Exactly.
Where it is,
so that's where I agree with you. They have to vote. If you don't, if you have to vote, you have to vote somewhere. So if you're not going to do a vote of faith, like I suppose I'm doing, a leap of faith, which is not very strategic, or you're not, whatever your other motives could be for voting. If you haven't got any alternative, then yeah, I agree with you, Wendy. Vote for Arch. Don't not vote. Don't not vote.
If we carry, if like, the majority of people carry on thinking like, it's pointless going to vote because blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I was pissing myself. I shouldn't have been laughing today at you when, because I just come in and I was listening to you, and then I heard you screaming and shouting about somebody called Gary. I thought, who the hell is Gary?
Oh, I was so angry. I was so angry earlier today with the people from Manchester. I was so angry.
Over the by-election.
Yes.
But who's Gary?
You cowards. Why didn't you get up and vote? Oh, I was so angry, Wendy.
Yeah, but who's Gary?
He was some bloke that just come in the side chat and started. You know, like you get some idiot come in and start giving it large, and because you're upset about something, you see it and you're like, you absolutely
Yeah, you zone in on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So,
thought, who the hell's Gary?
but at the end of the day, I picked it out because I wanted to make an example of that comment as well, because I could get my feelings out by speaking on that comment. But yeah, freaking hell, I was so angry. Couldn't believe it.
Oh, I mean, it's bad when, right, I knew that things are starting to get at me when I woke up yesterday morning, and the first thought in my head, right, was, right, there's a by-election going on today. I thought, fucking hell. In Manchester. Do you know what I mean? That tells me that it's starting to get at me now. That things are are becoming more important than they used to be, these little by-elections and everything. Do you know what I mean? And then when the Green Party were, but I don't know, right? There's no way that Muslims can agree with the Green Party's politics.
Yeah, but you know what they've done? They've done underhanded tricks. This is the other thing, Wendy. She done a Urdu promotional video just in Urdu.
It made me feel sick. Yeah, it made me feel sick. Yes, it did.
Yeah, so in the promos that she's doing to the, I don't know, the people, but then I think the Green Party's changed from what we thought it was anyway, because years ago the Green Party was effectively the raving loony party, weren't it?
Yeah.
Then it morphed into the Green Party. They were all the nutters that were up Green and Common and all that. And then, you know, it kind of moved on from that to, I don't know, clean bins and windmills in the garden and stuff like that, right? So you don't expect it all of a sudden. It's now Islamists. I mean, we should have had early warning signals when Bellew started saying he was going to go green, but yeah, it was very. We assumed it was very middle classy. You know, they were the people that sort of like put pressure, so we now have black bins, brown
like
bins,
25
green
bins. Yeah. We have 25 bins because of them. Yeah.
Yeah, but what they did was they were sort of like promoted themselves, oh yeah, free loving and all that rubbish to one group of people, the indigenous that understand English. And then for those in Urdu, they told them something else.
Yeah. That was sly. But how they could, because the Green Party is pro ABCDE, you know, that them lot. Something to do with heroin and something else. I think they will, I don't know, want to make it legal or something fucking silly. So you see, those minorities cannot agree with those policies. So they're using it as a way to get in, aren't they? That's what they're doing. Yeah.
Well, on the face of it, then, went and not agree with those policies. But if the statistics tell us anything, and the kind of sexual offences that are now becoming increasingly popular, they don't seem to care what hole they poke it in, Wendy, to be quite frank. So I don't think they do really care. I think it's all top show. I think it's all load of old nonsense. I think a lot of these lot actually love the free love bit and all the rest of it.
I mean, I don't even know how many MPs the Green Party have got in the House of Commons. That's how interesting they are to me. Just how much of a threat is this Green Party with their Islamists?
Well, I think well, to be fair, at the moment, unless it becomes sort of like a trend, it's not really that much of a threat, is it? Apart from the people in Manchester who foolishly didn't get off their arse. So,
no.
Sorry, Manchester, got no sympathy at the moment. But no, on a serious note, Yes, it's more people in more positions of power. We've already got enough
Yes.
councillors. We've already got enough councillors that are
Right. So they've only got
loyal
4.
to their extreme beliefs before they're loyal to the mindsets of British people. Let me put it that way. And I'm not talking about the elite mindsets, because obviously they're a bunch of weirdos as well because of everything that's being uncovered. But the average British person, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. So Zach Palensky, right, who has served as the party's leader, the party has 5 representatives in the House of Commons and 2 in the House of Lords. Well, the House of Lords don't count anyway. In addition, it has 890 councillors at local government level.
There you go.
But they've only got 5 in the House of Commons. Right.
Well, I think Farage has got less than that, hasn't he?
What? Let's see how many he's got. I think he's got about the same, you know.
But no doubt it's one of the Greens that stood up and wanted cousin marriage or something.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying, Wendy. It's all too much.
1, 2, 3.
And if I think it's enough at this level, can you imagine what it's going to be like to live in when it's worse?
Well, yeah. So they've got the same 5. 5 MPs.
I mean, when you look at it, Wendy, right? There's Rupert Lowe, who's been he was put on a committee, right?
Yeah.
He's been doing loads of work. You see all of the footage when he's pulling the committee up and talking and all of that stuff and everything else. He's done all that. He's done the grooming gang inquiry, which he's going to put all the results together when he's collated it and everything else, which is what he's working on at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's done that inquiry. And, you know, he was the only one that did it when nobody else said, when everybody else kept saying they would. He actually, even if it's not up to the level that some people might have wanted, right? He's tried his best. He's gone and had a proper inquiry, collated stuff together, got names together and everything else, and deciding what action he can do legally. I mean, he's already written a letter to the Justice Secretary about something with one of the people. So he's going to work case by case. He's told us that he's going to try and get private prosecutions if he can, right?
Right.
You know, and then you got 5 people that are legitimately in the Reform Party in the Houses of Parliament. What have they done then since those 5 have got in? What have they effectively
nothing.
argued?
They sit there every week. I see them in there. They sit there and they say absolutely nothing.
But I can see plenty of clips throughout the last year where Rupert Lowe has been pulling up the committees and stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He's always got something to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Standing up in the Houses of Parliament, putting in petitions. So when people say, you know, well, not really, no. That's not how I see it. I see it slightly differently. I think Rupert Lowe does a lot more. And on top of that, he gives all his wages away to charity. So he's not even motivated by money because he does that and he does extra. If you think about it.
Right. Well,
he does what we expect him to do and he does extra on top. And he's not even getting paid for it.
So Rupert Lowe posted on January the 9th saying that England spends up to 80 million per year on healthcare for illegal migrants.
It's disgusting, Wendy. If they stop that, we could have our NHS back.
Yeah. You know, 80 million a year on illegal migrants.
And this is what I mean. They don't have to tell you that they don't care about you, but they don't care about you.
No,
They're not looking after the young. They're not looking after the vulnerable. Because the last time I looked, in the vulnerable group were disabled people, people on benefits, right? People that were homeless, the young and the old. They're not looking after the old. They're not looking after the young. Oh, and women. They're not, and children. They're not looking after the women and children. They haven't got a health service anymore.
no. I forgot that Rupert has had this restore thing that wasn't an actual party before, didn't he? It was like a pressure group.
Yeah.
So he did a petition, and that petition under the pressure group, right, hit 300,000 in 2 days, Jubes.
This is what I'm telling you, Wendy.
And it was a petition for mass deportation, and he got 300,000 signatures within 2 days.
Right, well, there you go.
I forgot he had that pressure group, and then he's changed it into the political party, hasn't he? Yeah, I'd say a lot of people, it sounds to me like a lot of people are very bitter towards Rupert Lowe in the political circles. I think they see him as a threat.
You see, Rupert's not stupid. He was an MEP as well.
Yes, yeah. Was just reading that, 300,000 names on that petition within 2 days for mass deportation.
That's why I think if enough people rally behind Rupert, right, forget all the fucking flying monkeys and all the silly arguments and all the other stuff. Because, listen, if you're at a rally and someone decent like Barricade, Danny Roscoe or whoever gets threatened, it's down to everybody else to go, hold on a minute, we know them, they're not, no, stop it. And even if you don't know them, to go, hold on a minute, that's not what we're about. Do you understand what I mean, Mandy?
Yeah, of course I do.
The other stuff, that's activism. The other stuff is and that's the other thing. I don't think people were understanding the difference between activism and being a politician.
And being a politician, yes. There's a big difference.
Exactly.
So Victoria says, I don't know how we can work it out. It would be good to know the reach of the channels online. As there are a lot of millions of people in the UK, it might give us an idea of the hard work ahead. Well, I'm afraid a lot of people still don't look to online for politics. Although I have to say, it is Liam Tufts. The other day, one of my sons says to me, "Have you ever heard of a bloke called Liam Tufts?" Well, I just giggled, right? I went, "Yeah. I've heard of Liam Tufts. Oh, he does some good podcasts, doesn't he? I listen to him when I'm driving." And I thought, never. When you think you're never going to hear that.
Yeah.
But so he's a young guy, and he's going on to me about Liam Tufts. And then I said, "You do know who Liam Tufts, is involved with, don't you, and all that?" And he said to me straight away, he went, "Yeah, I looked it up. He's involved with that guy, Tommy Robinson." He goes, "But that's all right, because what Tommy Robinson said was true." Now, I try not to influence, family members, but for my own family members to come up with that on his own, that told me quite a bit. So yeah, because you got to get the younger people too, Dukes. You know, you got to get them to think it's worth voting, because they're the ones that sit about. You know, I ain't got time to vote. I go to work.
But Wendy, they're the ones who are beginning to realise what a shit world they're living in.
Yeah.
The more they're being shown the true history and stuff, once they come onto YouTube and places, it's when they start to wake up and they're like, whoa, I've been lied to.
Yeah, yeah. But it's good. I mean, I don't understand how when you say about the lies and the corruption, I'm not defending Andrew in any way, what shape at all, right? But I'd like to know, how come they can go all the way, they go grab Andrew and arrest Andrew, blah, 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 blah. But Starmer, nothing. When Starmer appointed that fucking thing as the US envoy. That's, to me, I don't get that. Are they using, I want to put it here, is the government using Andrew, as guilty as he is, as the fucking scapegoat? So, you know, the pressure gets took off Starmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wendy, look at it this way, right? Starmer was in CPS when Jimmy Savile didn't get prosecuted. Starmer was head of CPS when he gave out the order for 13,000 groomers to get ASBOs. Yeah?
Yeah.
Starmer must have been aware of the circles that Peter Mandelson was keeping. Starmer's also got an ongoing case with people firebombing in his house and what were their professions. All of it seems to be adding up, Wendy.
Yeah, I totally agree. But it was just when, you know, they made this big deal about Prince Nobody being arrested. Straight away, I thought, as long as it's not you, Starmer. Do you know what I mean? It's like, push it all onto him, and that takes all the pressure off me.
But Wendy, I think he's already on the way out. They're just preparing the handover.
Hopefully.
Behind the scenes. Yeah, but nothing much is going to change.
No, I know. But I just don't want to.
Until we get somebody that wants to root out the evil in there.
No, I agree. I agree. But I just want to be able to watch PMQs without feeling physically sick every week, looking at his face and his voice, because he sounds like a fucking Dalek and he looks like a rat. I can't stand the man. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a sellout. He got brainwashed by a cult years ago when he went Czechoslovakia or wherever it is, and he's come back like a nutcase.
You know,
they're all in this ideology, aren't they? The Fabian Society or wherever it is. They all believe in pushing all this Marxism and communism. It's weird. That's why they're in bed with China.
No, yeah, well, he was over there, wasn't he, visiting not long ago?
But this is where I think the Islamics are stupid, because what did China do to the Islamics eventually?
Oh, yeah. Well,
you see? But Starmer thinks that he's going to be like the Chinese. Yeah? That's what he thinks in his own head. But it won't work, because the people you've aligned yourself with are the absolute fairies of the world. The ones who want to be fuzzy bears and change sex and swing from chandeliers and, you know, all the sensible people. All the sensible people, they're not standing with you. They're looking at you, scratching their head, thinking, what the fucking hell happened? I went to work one day and came out, the world's upside down.
Yeah. The backbenchers, they're the ones that will get rid of him. And I don't know.
You know, Monday morning you got up and it was all look out for packages and be mindful of people getting on buses, and leaving backpacks behind. The next day you got up and it was everything to the religion of peace.
Yeah, and don't
You're
look back in
racist.
anger. Yeah, and don't look back in anger. Yeah.
What are you phoning me up for, reporting a backpack? How dare you?
That's
You're
racism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And without meaning it to be in any way, shape or form disrespectful. And then what happens? Manchester gets blown up because the security guard's too scared to report it. I mean, you couldn't make this shit up. And then what happens? Come 2026, they vote the Greens in.
Yeah. But
I mean, really? What's going on? Really? I mean, I know you got told not to look back in anger and stick headscarves on, but what was on them headscarves? Mind bending or in drugs or something? Because I don't get it.
I know.
How can you forget children at a pop concert?
And they were saying that to us and singing that before those poor kids were even buried, Jupiter. Yeah. It makes me sick when I think about it. And then because, did you hear that bloke and Prime Minister's questions? He got, oh, well, there was somebody went into a Muslim mosque with an axe, apparently. Well, yeah. What do you expect to be done about that? Because somebody's always going into somewhere.
Oh, we know what's expected. They're going to give another £10 million next week to up the security. Ain't that what they done last time?
Yeah. No, they did that last time because the Jewish people had been murdered in that terrorist attack.
Yeah, that's the excuse, Wendy. That was the excuse. But the truth was that a Jewish man got murdered at a synagogue. You ain't worth no money. The other bloke, there was a fire outside some mosque up.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
Oh, we'll give you 10 million to up your protection. What? What's going on? No one got hurt there. Someone got hurt there, but we've got to look after them. Huh?
God. I
don't know how they're working it out. When people tell me you're getting old, that's why you can't see it, I'm like, yeah, I think it must be that, because honestly, I'm confused. I can't work this shit out. I don't understand how they rationalise. I don't.
No, it's got nothing to do with getting old and can't work it out. It's in front of you. It's facts. And this country is changing rapidly, and it's not changing in a good way. And it's the way that that's the way Starmer wants it. I mean, really, for the last 14 years, the Conservatives have been doing Labour's job for them, really. You know, when they kept letting everyone in, well, they were doing Labour's job for them.
Oh, they were all involved. The reason that we had that closed down and were given jabs to shut us all up was so they could bring in unfettered numbers, Wendy. And do you know the one thing that I really regret, and I should have been a bit more on the ball with it, and so should you. Back then, we let personalities get in the way of our judgment. Well, I did anyway. I hold my hands up. Because Base Welshman, I remember Base Welshman and that Active Patriot, they were together down at the shoreline. Do you remember the police were chasing immigrants all up and down the road?
Yes, very much like it was only yesterday. Yes.
Yeah. That was years ago now.
Yeah, I also remember the Kent variant. And I remember saying to you, oh, I wonder where that's come from, the Kent variant.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I do remember that. The police chasing them up and down the thing. Active Patriot, Base Welshman. They were all around there at that time, weren't they? Round at the
Yep.
Dover, Ramsgate, all of those places.
It's mental. It makes you wonder, did they do an organised break-in and nobody told us? You know, you begin to wonder, didn't you? Exactly what was going on. Or
Well,
did you
yeah.
do it? Or was it organised, completely organised, all those people trafficking? Because either way, it ain't good, is it?
No. And we're getting diseases back that we got rid of. Tuberculosis, TB, scabies, all these little, monkeypox.
It's mental. Absolutely mental.
I remember the first time when you got monkeypox. I said, what the hell is monkeypox? Never heard of monkeypox. What is monkeypox? And I'd never heard of it before, Tubes.
Yeah, but Wendy, I want to just live in a society, right, where we can relax. Where when I say to you, you're a cheeky little monkey, there is no racial connotation, because there is no racial connotation.
Well, there is none.
And I haven't got to fucking worry that somebody's going to go, I overheard her saying that.
Yeah, but you're talking about... Well, so,
do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
I know
pathetic.
exactly what you mean. Yeah.
We're walking on eggshells in our own country, right? And if you're not being fucking pulled up for your speech, you're having your fucking skirt pulled up by some fucking weirdo who's just got off a boat. Listen, AY did a stream the other day, right? He did a stream the other day. 10 minutes the bloke was in here. As he passed the school, he was blowing kisses at the schoolgirls.
Yeah, I heard him saying, it's that's bad. It's really bad. I guess
because they believe all the hype. The hype is, if you come here, you can do what you like, basically. In their culture, Wendy, they're being told that if they do, sexual assault, if you do sexual assault, then basically, if you're willing to marry the person you did the sexual assault on, you've redeemed the honour of the family, so, you can't get done for it. That's how their minds are working.
How strange. Well, I don't know when it's going to get back to the way it used to be, or if it ever will.
Well, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? If it can ever get back there, but it's got to stop. One way or the other, we can't add to it. That's the problem.
No, it's got to stop.
It's going to take a while to get things back to normality. We probably won't be alive long enough to fucking see it get back to normality, unfortunately.
No. But, it's the absolute brazenness of the government too. The things they do right in front. So we really don't care what you lot think. We're going to do this and we're going to do that, and tough. Yeah. Dupes have, they keep putting, now they're putting these illegal thingy-whats in the army barracks, right?
Yeah.
Is it me, or have people forgot that was done first and it didn't work?
They did it first, and then the excuse was they've got to put them into Wendy. Shall I tell you what's been happening?
What?
They put them into the barracks while they worked out what they were going to do with them and got accommodation ready for them, and then they created a pipeline, which was go into the hotels, from the hotels go into housing. Okay?
Right.
But the pipeline got chock-a-block. That's the reason, and people started protesting at the pipeline. So now they've changed the pipeline. That's all it is. Those protests that those illegals did, they could have ignored it.
Yeah.
They could have contained it. The political will was there to actually put them into hotels. They wanted to put them into hotels.
Well, didn't they set fire to a few of the ex-army camps and things like that? Didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, because they had to share rooms. Yeah, but it was good enough for the army, not good enough for them.
Not good enough for them.
But I also don't think they should have been allowed to wander off of the army barracks either. That was the other thing.
No, wander in and out, Willie. No, they should have had, they should have had those tag things put on them.
You know, crazy.
Yeah, they definitely set fire to them, because I remember it was that little veteran, he used to camp outside of them, and Active Patriot actually.
And who else? Who was the other one?
And that Tracy woman, was that right? Tracy
and based, GW, yeah.
That's right. And then, of course, this is not good enough for us, so we're going to set fire to it. Next thing I knew, they're all waking up in 4-star and 5-star.
But don't you remember us arguing with Zubida and the Islamic people that were on here at the time? And there was a lot at the time, Wendy. Back then, there was there was Samaya's channel, there was Sir Faz's channel,
there was loads of them. Yeah.
There was Zubaida's channel. There was Reactionaries.
Yeah.
All of these people had channels. And don't forget, me, Wendy, me and you used to go and engage with all these people.
I know.
All the way back then, when they were protesting and saying, no, they've got to get these people out of these camps, and trying to speak with them and rationalise them. We did. But, yeah, people forget we've been around for all of this. All of it. We've seen it all play out.
Yes, we've watched it, yes.
We're probably going to watch it go round another revolution. They don't get things right. The revolutions will just keep going until eventually one day you get up and, it don't matter, because the minute you step outside your door, your head's lopped off.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I shouldn't even laugh, but it's not funny. It's just my dark humour. I see everything in the cartoon world. I'm like, it's fucking ridiculous. If you told somebody this 30 years ago, this is what the world's going to be, they would not believe you.
Oh, no, of course not. If someone had tried to tell me this 30 years, I wouldn't have believed them, dupes. I wouldn't have believed it. No.
You know?
Those people were people. I just wouldn't have believed it. But it was when the government announced they were going to be putting them into army camps. I remember thinking, huh? They did that before and it didn't work out because it wasn't good enough for them.
Mickey's coming. He said, can he ask a question? Why are they bringing them in? Okay, my opinion on why they're bringing them in, and it's only my opinion, I could be totally wrong, is that they wanted to maintain the voting blocks and they wanted to keep themselves in power, because the established government, as we've got it at the moment, including, in my opinion, Farage, but you would say different, Wendy, all of them, Labour, Conservatives, even SDP, SNP, or whoever they are, most of those, any of them that've got anybody that's ever represented them, who could have been aware of a lot of the stuff that was going on and ignored the plight of what was happening to our society, don't want the real depths of their depravity shown. They want to hold on to the status quo, not just for financial gain, Mickey, but to cover their sins. That's what I truly believe. Well, I think there's some stuff that's even darker than what we know now, Wendy, and they don't want it out there.
Well, I've always thought that anyway. Yeah. But why they're letting them in? I don't know. Cheap labour.
To try, I don't even think it's about the cheap labour. It's to try and maintain the system, the status quo.
Yeah, but they've got to understand that people are not just going to sit down and take it.
No, they're not. And people are waking up all over the place. But they have to understand that you've got to fight on both fronts. You've got to fight within the system and outside the system. And within the system, it is with your vote.
Well, that's the only way you can fight, really, is with the vote. Outside the system, yes, you can protest. But protesting, it didn't really help that young girl that got stabbed 23 times as she walked home from working in one of the migrant hotels. You know, and things like that happen, and the government are like, oh, well, you know, it just makes so much has changed in this country. The attitudes changing all the time.
Listen, I can understand attitudes changing, but it's not just attitudes, is it? It's the state of the country.
Yeah.
The heart and soul is being ripped out of communities up and down this country. People are going backwards in time to the living standards.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
yeah.
And it's if it was everybody, you'd say, okay, everybody's going through austerity. But you turn the corner and you see, actually, no, there's a group of people that are being brought in and given everything. Not that we're asking for everything to be given, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't be giving away all our taxpayers' money to improve that. When, look, our NHS is collapsing, but you're giving them NHS, right?
80 million a year.
There you go. Our schooling systems become messed up completely messed up. They even stopped the grammar schools, didn't they? The private schools.
Yeah.
Right. So they've completely chock-a-block. The class sizes are expanding. What they're being taught is just so messed up. It's not really about education anymore or expanding mindsets. It's more about brainwashing. Yeah. And creating citizens of the future that they can have under their control. That's going to ruin entrepreneurship and creativity.
That's right. We're just going to be left as a third world dumping ground. We're
going to be left as a third world dumping ground, but our third world are going to be better off than ourselves.
Yeah.
And they are better off than ourselves. Listen, if you want a comparison, look at what happened in South Africa and go and look at the white slums. They said they wanted equality. Yeah. They didn't have equality. What they did was positive discrimination, and look what happened. And their justification was, it's their land. Well, this is our land.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to say that, you see. Are we, Dupes? We're not allowed to have that claim.
Well, they try to tell you you're not allowed to say it, otherwise it means you're racist, but it's not. It's you're a realist.
Yeah, they can say that if they like.
Israel are allowed to have their country the way they want it. Pakistan's allowed to have their country the way they want it. All the African countries, they're allowed to have it. So why can't the indigenous people here have it the way they want it? Why can't they say they want to roll down onto their culture?
It's like when they go on about the indigenous people of Australia and New Zealand, you know, they should have these rights, that right. And yet the indigenous people of this country, well, we've got no fucking rights at all. You know, they don't want us to have any.
Wendy, they think we're all stupid. They think we've got stupid stamped on my head. Where I come from, we'd say, do you think I've got CUNT stamped on my head?
Yeah.
They want us to go and fight for someone else's borders, namely Ukraine.
No.
Whilst we can't even uphold our own.
Yeah, no, then go straight to hell with that one.
It's mental.
It is. Well, Dupes, I'm going to have to go to bed, love. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'm sorry you caught me on a day where I'm so fired up as well, because I'm so irritated with that Galton and Denton. Oh, it really rubbed me up the wrong way, seriously.
Gary, I need a fucking that's Gary.
Oh, fucking hell. Anyway,
Right.
night, peeps. Night, Wen. Thanks for having us up.
Good night, love. Right, good night, everyone. I'll see you again soon. Thank you for being here.